Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you are with mindWireless. I'm your moderator for today, our mindWireless webinar, Taming the Raging Bull of MDM. This is the last in our fall blockbuster series. Before we start, we've got a couple of housekeeping points. You'll all be on mute, but feel free to use the chat or email button on your control panel and send us questions anytime during the 20-minute presentation. We'll respond to all questions immediately following. We're going to resume our webinar broadcast in mid-January. In the meantime, you're all going to receive a very short survey with a list of potential topics. And we'd really appreciate you indicating which ones you have the most interest in, and we'll come back with those in our winter and spring series. Now, our presenters today are mindWireless founder and co-CEO Kevin Whitehurst and Michael Prince, our Director of Business Development and Channel Sales. They're going to begin acquainting you with the challenges and the options available from MDM. So now here's Michael.
Thanks, Beth. So let's start today by defining the term MDM. MDM is an acronym for Mobile Device Management. MDM refers to highly technical software solutions that secure, monitor, manage, and support mobile devices deployed across enterprises. MDM functionality typically enables over-the-air remote diagnostics, configuration, monitoring, distribution of applications, and policy enforcement on all types of mobile devices. Device types include mobile phones, smartphones, tablet computers, and other cellular-capable devices. These solutions can apply to both company-owned or corporate liable and employee-owned or individual liable devices across the enterprise. It should be noted that MDM solutions are only a component of an effective enterprise corporate mobility management program. The MDM market is quickly developing, and there are many MDM providers and solution approaches to the market available. The driving force behind the market is the desire for corporations to protect and secure their corporate data and networks from intrusion by mobile devices that are not owned by the company under its direct control. Today, the leading MDM providers offer solutions that cover all major smartphone platforms, including Apple's iOS, Android, BlackBerry, and Windows Mobile environments. You will find both hosted solutions that reside on-premise, behind the firewall, and highly secured cloud-based solutions. By monitoring, controlling, and protecting the data and access for all mobile devices connected to the network, MDM solutions can reduce support costs and business risks. The intent of MDM is to optimize the functionality and security of a mobile communications network while minimizing the support costs and downtime. Keeping control of mobility today is not easy. There are many pressures on today's corporate mobile enterprise that have increased the risk to the organization. The proliferation and consumerization of smartphones and mobile tablet computers has brought demands from workers to connect employee-owned devices to corporate email, networks, and applications. In some environments, employees have already done so simply by replicating email and server settings on their corporate computers. We have spoken to corporations who don't know how many devices are connected to their networks or who owns them. This is obviously a major security concern. Keeping control of mobility policies when you don't know who is connecting is next to impossible. Many corporations have defined or are being forced to define new policies to address these bring-your-own-device demands from its employees. Not only are employees demanding access for their devices, the device types connecting to corporate networks are multiplying. When looking at mindWireless corporate-owned devices under management as a whole, we have predictably seen traditional cell phones on the decline being replaced by smartphones and tablets. MDM solutions can help gain control of the security risks by monitoring who and what devices are connecting and enforcing policies on the devices themselves. One of the largest challenges corporations are facing today is which internal team is responsible for overall mobile security strategy. It is not uncommon to see MDM solutions being evaluated by internal IT security teams who will not be responsible for deploying or managing the solution day to day. Better internal communications is often needed, and bringing in external mobility experts can help. To you, Kevin.
Thanks, Michael. So here is a look add some live usage data focusing on just the data side, excluding voice minutes. We wanted to see how data consumption differed between specifically the iPhone and a BlackBerry. I wanted to throw this slide in just to see the impact on usage that these smart devices are having. This is a sampling of our client base looking at average data consumption per device. In late 2009, BlackBerries were averaging around 15 megabytes per user per month. At that same time, we see the iPhone averaging around 130 megabytes per user per month. Over the 2-year period on the graph we are viewing here, we have seen BlackBerry data usage grow at a moderate pace, not quite doubling over the 2 years to around 25 megabytes per user per month. But look at the orange line. That represents the iPhone data usage growth. At 300 megabytes per month, usage has more than doubled and represents over 10 times the data usage of a BlackBerry. As more and more users migrate to these smart devices, consumption is increasing at a rapid pace. Not only is security a risk, cost will also be a major factor that IT professionals will have to contend with. If this rapid pace continues, we will see average usage grow to over a gigabyte per user in the next couple of years. And with the carriers moving towards a tiered pricing model for data, we will see a rapid growth in cost as well. What I'd like to do next is clearly define 2 acronyms that are thrown out quite a bit today, TEM and MDM. I also want to show how they relate from a service delivery perspective. First, let's look at TEM, or Telecom Expense Management Process for Wireless Devices. TEM focuses on a full life cycle of management tools and processes to help manage day-to-day wireless activities. Inventory helps the organization keep tabs on corporate liable devices and where they belong in the organization. Device deployment focuses on the processes and approval routings to get devices into the hands of your employees, whether a new device or an upgrade. Cost optimization helps reduce costs by optimizing plans and features on each device. And reporting helps organizations see a full picture of wireless costs across your population of devices. Supporting each of these processes is an account management team that includes help desk support available for each wireless user. Software also typically aids each of the processes listed in a TEM solution. Now, let's overlay MDM, or mobile device management, onto the TEM, telecom expense management process, by words. It is our belief that a combined TEM-MDM solution creates the most secure, cost-efficient, and end-user-friendly wireless program. First and foremost, MDM adds an element of security to devices that are not a BlackBerry. BlackBerries currently have a proven security solution when implemented with a BES or BlackBerry Enterprise Server. Many of our clients are still predominantly on a BlackBerry solution and are currently protected by a BES. However, organizations and users are moving to the more popular smart devices like iPhones and Android-powered devices. The lack of security is the most glaring element missing with these devices. Next, we see the ability to enhance the inventory management by including individual liable devices. Making sure individual liable devices connected to your network have an MDM solution is critical to protecting your network. Let's take one moment to discuss liability. I know we've thrown out personal liability and corporate liability, but I wanted to take a minute to go through these. A corporate liable device is a device where the monthly service is guaranteed to be paid by the organization, whereas the individual guarantees monthly payment on an individual liable account. On an individual liable account, the carrier utilizes the individual's credit score to approve the device order. Liability is based on who is ultimately responsible for the monthly service payment of the device, not who actually physically pays the device monthly or who paid for the upfront cost of the device. Also, on individual liable devices, it is against the law to obtain usage information from the carrier. So monthly management of rate plans and features are out of the question on individual liable devices. Firms must legally tread lightly when putting MDM software on individual liable devices, as this touches on privacy laws currently in place. With Bring Your Own Device, while Bring Your Own Device seems like an easy solution, organizations have to be thoughtful about how to implement. Next, remote configurations and application installations can complement the device deployment process. Cost optimization is another area that can be enhanced with MDM. MDM being deployed on a device allows the organization to monitor what is used and when features are being called on that might be against corporate policy. For example, if an individual makes an international call, the organization can be notified. The wireless team then has a choice to block future international calls or to add a bolt-on plan to help reduce costs. Real-time reporting and remote help desk management are additional services that really add to the overall wireless program. Next, I'm going to turn the presentation back to Michael, and he will take you through a few steps to lead you to an effective program that manages the full cycle of wireless.
Great, thank you, Kevin. So the first step we recommend organizations undertake when evaluating the strategy for securing the mobile enterprise is to assemble an internal team that includes all groups involved in supporting the mobile assets. This group should perform an analysis of the current environment that includes a detailed security assessment. The team should set clear policies and goals for any MDM solution implementation and must designate who will evaluate, deploy, and manage the systems. The team needs also to consider who will be trained on the MDM system platform and manage its full capabilities day to day. It's not uncommon to see powerful MDM solutions purchased but not fully deployed or utilized due to the fact that the teams lack the resources to deploy and manage the systems properly. Again, consideration must be given to the entire MDM lifecycle, and internal communications between IT security, telecom, and end-user support groups are critical. Once a mobile team is assembled and an MDM solution has been identified, the team must take a broader view of mobility management in order to fully create an efficient internal process. Considerations for the full lifecycle include a few more steps. First, it is critical to have a complete mobile inventory across your organization. You need an inventory in hand that contains records of all devices that are touching the corporate networks and who owns them. With BYOD penetrating organizations from many angles, it is critical to know who has a corporate liable device connected to the network and who has an individual liable device connected to the network. An employee-centric software portal that can assist in tracking this device information is critical to any efficient mobility management program. Second, managing a consistent device deployment policy within the organization helps control which devices are actually deployed to employees and helps leverage corporate contracts to reduce costs. Along with managing devices, a consistent process can also be implemented that provisions all MDM software prior to the employee receiving the device. Better management control of device deployment will help control the overall mobility program. It also helps the organization manage which devices are acceptable on the corporate network and within policy. And finally, it is important to have a consistent help desk support solution in place that supports employees with both corporate liable and individual liable devices across all phases of the mobility lifecycle. It doesn't matter which type of device they are using. If the device is within policy and employees are having trouble receiving email or need help loading mobile software applications, a dedicated and capable team is needed to support this new evolving mobile environment. With more and more individual liable employee-owned devices connecting to the networks, it is critical that corporate deployed software is monitoring what these devices are actually doing on the network and managing what they are capable of doing. Having a capable support group designated to ensure this step is managed properly is highly critical to a successful BYOD deployment. And the third step, with security needs identified and overall process efficiencies identified, the plan must then be put in place to lead your wireless management program into the future. Planning and accounting for an ever-changing mobile landscape is very important in this fast-moving IT sector. Policy must be created and communicated to all employees. Details regarding corporate liability versus individual liability must be clear and identified and should be acknowledged and agreed to by every employee. One best practice policy example to share is if the company is paying for both the device and the monthly service, the device must be corporate liable. Using an online wireless management enrollment service will help you capture all mobile users on the corporate network. Wireless usage, costs, and management complexities will continue to grow, and corporations must understand the need to invest in systems to help keep mobility management under control. And finally, key executive support is necessary as your organization looks to implement any comprehensive mobility management program. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks, Michael. Finally, MDM is not a full or total wireless solution. A complete wireless lifecycle management solution includes both functions of TEM and MDM. When implemented together, there is a nice complement of processes that allow each to be more effective. Shown on the right is a snapshot of mindWireless's employee self-service portal. You can see there are tools starting in the upper left that enable an employee to enroll their device for corporate and individual liable. Once the employee has enrolled their device into the corporate wireless program, an MDM solution can be loaded onto their device. Below enrollment, there's the ability for users to self-manage their device. Then device deployment through the shopping function in the upper right allows employees to select a new device or upgrade their existing device, ensuring corporate discounts are utilized. Below the shopping area, users can access detailed reporting on their wireless device and access reporting for employees that may report to them. Having a foundational set of software tools available to your end users will help organize and control the full wireless program to fit the needs of each organization. And when implemented alongside an MDM program, it creates a powerful, unified solution for the organization and your end users. Finally, plan a strategy now. While iPhones, Androids, and Windows mobile devices still make up about 10% of our client population, it is growing fast. Pull together a team of combined resources needed to adequately plan, decide, and communicate the program. Look at all components of wireless, not just security functions from MDM. Look to implement a foundational TEM program that can be enhanced with MDM software. And finally, bring in mobile experts to give an objective, outside perspective of what other organizations are doing and to test internal ideas. Okay, this concludes our presentation. Thank you very much for your time in joining us today. We appreciate it very much. Let's move on to any questions you may have. I know we've thrown out a lot of information in a very short period, and we'll get to as many questions as we can, but are committed to working with you if we don't get them answered in the next few minutes. On your GoToWebinar menu bar, you have the ability to ask questions now. Please send them in, and we'll check these and be back in 1 minute to answer. Thank you. And we'll conclude the presentation. So we have